two extremely happy gentlemen over the weekend, or Connor more specifically on Monday. We've got two title charges on the go. Luca, the first thing I did on the weekend, especially after that Juventus Milan one, I went onto your TikTok and I put notifications on. And it was nice, bro. It was nice to see you happy. Is that mood continued through your week?
It has. It was a massive win, a great win. It's always great to beat AC Milan and Inter. That game hasn't happened yet. They're the two biggest games for me. And yeah, it was an amazing win. Now we're close to Inter and AC Milan, and the title charge is well and truly on.
That's it. We love it. I love to see it. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. Connor, you must be happy. You're not chasing anybody. Top of the tree. How are we?
Well, I'm good. On top of the world. Especially where all pre-season everyone was like, "Oh, without Kane, Tottenham are going to be bottom of the pile. They're going to finish mid-table." It proves that Harry Kane clearly was the problem. This is a brand new team for the first time since 2019. I love my club, and
I can see the excitement, bro. I can see the excitement. I understand why. We are going to get into Tottenham. Of course, we're going to get into Juventus as well. But it'd be amiss of me if I was to start the show on any other topic other than Sir Bobby Charlton's unfortunate passing. Dill, I think you're the man for the job. Do you want to lead us into the show with a little piece on him?
Yeah, it was a very, very sad day. It was almost one of those moments where you kind of lost for words and you don't know what to say. And I think United summed it up very well with their little post on social media where it said, words will never be enough. Because it is really true. How do you ever put into words what a man like Sir Bobby Charlton means to Manchester United and English football and all of football in general, to be honest? It just epitomises everything that's good about the club and good about English football in general, you know, from the Munich, coming through the youth team from the age of 16, then surviving the Munich air disaster, losing a lot of his close friends, teammates and colleagues, and then, you know, pushing us on to that 1968 European Cup win, becoming the first ever English team to do it with, you know, the Holy Trinity, with Dennis Law and with George Best as well, winning absolutely everything there is to win at club level. Winning the World Cup with England, obviously 2 massive goals in the semi-final and instrumental in us winning that. He just did absolutely everything. Man United's top scorer at the time until recently, England's top scorer until maybe 6 or 7 years ago when Wayne Rooney took it. It went through absolutely 2 or 3 other generations of footballers and no one ever bested him at stuff like that. And he wasn't even a striker, really. And just from what your stories you hear about what a great guy he is around the club at United, helping youngsters, taking part in training well into like his 50s and 60s. And, just a model professional and just an absolute gentleman that everyone that met him through football and life in general absolutely adored. And just Mr. Manchester United, really. You know, you look at those players that are synonymous with a football club, like John Terry's Mr. Chelsea and stuff like that. Bobby Charlton was Mr. Manchester United. He meant everything to everyone at the club. Epitomised the club so well, was such a great ambassador for the club whilst being our best ever player. Just a phenomenal footballer, a phenomenal human being, and just a huge loss for the world of football. And for anyone that obviously none of us here, other than maybe you, Dan, got to see him live at the time when he was playing. So, you know, if you've got a bit of spare time tonight or whenever you're seeing this, and especially you're a United fan or an England fan, just go and watch some of his highlights, because I know a lot of people say football was way easier back then, but he's doing absolutely insane things in like the 50s and 60s with a football that people had never done before. Just a brilliant man, a brilliant footballer, and a huge loss. And hopefully United honour him well today.
Yeah, I think it's hard to talk on players that you haven't actually seen live or been a part of or remember the moments growing up. But I think sometimes stats are misleading, but achievements kind of speak for themselves. I mean, if you're playing centre midfield and you're scoring 312 times for your club in 918 games, he's a Ballon d'Or winner, part of the Holy Trinity, won the World Cup, Premier League, FA Cup. He really has done it all. And he quite obviously is, on the back of that, England's best ever. Speaking of England,
and he's got a stand named after him as well, which no United player's ever done or probably will never get close to. Like, the 2 biggest legends in Man United of all time are Sir Alex and Sir Bobby. Like, let's be real.
That's the pedestal, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, speaking of England, Steve, speaking of the Premier League, we do have to get back to the modern times, and we're going to start with Tottenham being missed. Surprisingly top of the league, surprisingly playing good football, surprisingly deservedly being there as well. A little bit of underachievement by others potentially, but the table doesn't lie. Connor, where do you want to start with this? Because we're going to come to you first, it being your club and all. You've already mentioned that you're surprised, expected to be mid-table. Where do you want to go with this? Because I've got a couple of follow-up questions. Well, for all of you, really. Does it have to start with Big Ange?
Well, you see countless interviews with him where he won't even crack a smile. He just stands there. He's like, nope, I'm just going to keep level-headed, going to take each game as it comes. The pundits always are like, oh, where do you think you're going to finish? Oh, Tottenham in a title charge. And he's just so monotone with it. He's just like, mate, you just have to see what we can do. That is the best Australian action you're ever going to get. But I'm, for first time in years, a manager actually looks like he wants to be at the club and get success. Conte come, I think, for the bag. Mourinho, I think, come for the bag. Poch, obviously, was the last one that actually showed any passion and commitment towards us. And then he was just booted out. And then when we was looking for a manager, we didn't even pick up the phone and call him. And now he's gone to Chelsea, but that's a different story. Again, we're going to take every game as it comes. If we beat Palace on Friday, we go 5 points top, which in any other point of the season is amazing. But again, it's October. We got this far a couple of years ago on the Nuno. We won 4 out of 4 games, beating the champions, and then he got sacked 6 games later, and then we just fell apart. I'm trying not to get ahead of myself, which is what I do every single year as a Spurs fan. I'll say, oh yeah, Carabao Cup is ours. We got knocked out before even the big teams even played. Now I think top 3 and a good run in the FA Cup is realistic. Obviously, it helps us having no European football, so we don't have to rotate the squad as much. So we're less prone for injuries also. But I genuinely think top 3 and a decent run in the FA Cup is in our sights this season.
Yeah, I don't think that's too out of this world. I mean, it's hard sometimes because we're supposed to enjoy football, right? We're supposed to look at these moments and then be excited about it. So any Spurs fan that's getting carried away, I do not blame you whatsoever. It looks good. Obviously, Ange, like you mentioned already, that Ange in his press conferences is very subdued about everything. It's because he's done it before. He's won 5 league titles. This isn't new to him. The Premier League's new to him. This situation is new to Tottenham, but it's not new to Ange. Still, where do you think this ends up?
I think it ends up in like top 4 and maybe a run at an FA Cup or something like JD said. I think this is the thing, like I don't blame Spurs fans for getting carried away, but every time I speak about it, especially on clips that got from this pod, I get like pelters from Spurs fans because they think I'm saying they can't enjoy it or enjoy the football or be happy. That's not what I'm saying. Like, so, as someone who doesn't care about Spurs and isn't a fan of Spurs, I can look at the perspective of the fact that you played 6 out of the bottom 8 teams so far this season. You know what I mean? You should be expected to win those games. Yes, they look good. I understand when you've been in the pits for so long and you've got a good atmosphere around the place, why that's going to be great. It's like us with Ten Hag last season because we weren't used to it for a while. And that's absolutely fine. But I wouldn't, and to be fair to him, I respect JD for not saying they're going to win the league by 20 points because that's what I thought he was going to say. But yeah, they are good. They're playing decent football, but I do think a little bit of added perspective. And I think they'll still be 3rd or 4th come the end of the season. Individuals are playing very well right now. An injury to Maddison or Son or a drop off in form in one of those, and who knows what happens. It's football, but I don't blame Spurs fans for being optimistic. I would be if my club had been so bad for so long, and especially with the added Harry Kane dilemma that so many people were saying would ruin them in the summer, probably me included. To be fair, it's another positive. So there's a lot to be happy about, and I am jealous.
I'm jealous too, bro. Luca at the moment knows what it's like to be in the title charge. Looking from the outside in, do you think it's realistic that Spurs are in the conversation? And do you think they should be getting carried away? And how do you see this ending up this year?
Well, I definitely agree with Connor's, let's say, positivity, because you're playing great football. You start the season perfectly, almost. You're top, and it's the best football Spurs have played in years. You know, like he said, with Mourinho, with Conte, there was a lot of confusion around the club. A lot of Spurs fans upset, very high highs, low lows. It was kind of like no in between. But now I think Tottenham have a good chance again. I don't think they'll win the league, but I think they have a chance of pushing towards the league. I just think it comes down to the mentality of the club, to be honest. There's not any champions in that squad. Tottenham don't have a good winning mentality. They haven't won a relevant trophy in forever. I can't really see them pushing for that league title. It was a good start. but it takes consistency. That's what you need with a season. You need to be consistent over long periods of time. And I think Arsenal, I think City, and I think Liverpool are better teams than Tottenham. But I definitely think they'll get Champions League football. And of course, Tottenham fans should have the right to be happy. You can only be happy if you're winning. There's no point complaining. Why would they be upset? You know, it's just rival fans nitpicking and trying to bring them down.
Yeah, I hear you. I think the mentality is a huge talking point. It's something that isn't really looked at tactically because you can't measure it. You can't look at it and say you will bottle it until it actually does happen. But I mean, you see it a little bit with Arsenal last year. It does exist in football, especially when the tough gets going.
Like with Arsenal's team, I think they had no winners in that squad. Even now, you have like Zinchenko and Jesus that have won. But that's not enough.
They're not real winners either. Like Jesus was making excuses before the season even finished as to why they've not won it and stuff. Like Zinchenko and Jesus aren't the kind of players that bring that mentality. They were just there more than anything.
Yeah, they were there. They won stuff, but they didn't.
They weren't even pivotal parts to it. Yeah.
And I think Arsenal still lack that a bit. I think they're a bit naive in their mentality. And Tottenham, obviously, they don't have any winners really in that squad.
Yeah, I think go on.
Sorry. With Jesus, he, like what Dill's saying, he wasn't a pivotal part. He was playing on the wing in a side that didn't have a striker. And just to be pushed to the side and not have the faith and the backing from your own manager doesn't scream to us serial winners. Obviously, Pep is going to do what he needs to do with or without them. And we've seen it. They won a treble without those two players. I feel like Arsenal are turning too much into Man City's B team. They're getting all their players to try and compete with them, but that's just not how it works.
I think the idea of the City players coming over is just quite simply Arteta knows them because he was there before, and you see that quite a lot. You see players managers reaching into their back pocket of players they trust or have worked with before, know the mentality, and I think he wanted them to come across because, well, A, they're good, and B, he knew them. I don't think you'll see too many more of those City boys coming over. I want to get back to Spurs though, because the other skepticism around this Spurs squad is the depth, and I don't think player for player the depth is as bad as people make out. But I just think the way that Spurs play is so regimental, and it needs these certain pieces of the jigsaw to be able to work in the way that it did. I was actually quite surprised with the lack of Basuma that they still managed to implement that first phase football, which obviously was a lot to do with Maddison, a lot to do with Sarr dropping in, but that's a band-aid that works. How do you replace Maddison if he gets injured? I know you can say that about a lot of teams, right? Like, how do you replace De Bruyne if he gets injured, or put any key player you like in there? I just feel like the drop-off in their depth is a little bit too much. This is a topical piece online at the moment, so we have to address it. We're going to go through it. Connor, I'm going to come to you last. I'm going to go to Luca first. Is James Maddison the best number 10 in the Premier League?
Oof, that's a good question. Right now, are you saying as a footballer on form?
Yeah, I think if we go, who is the better player in the Premier League that holds the number 10 jersey? I mean, figuratively speaking, obviously. I mean, the answer is going to be, the answer is going to be Kevin De Bruyne. But with him out injured, not being able to play for a while, first 10 games of the season, is it hard to argue against Maddison?
I think if you're going on form, you probably have to say it's between him and Fernandes. To be honest, I think as ability-wise, I think Ødegaard is the most technically gifted number 10 in the league, apart from De Bruyne at the moment. But I think Maddison on form, you wouldn't put it past him. He probably is right now. He's probably one of the most informed players in the world, if we're speaking facts at the moment. But I just want to add on the last point that you talk about, Dan, is the injury. First of all, if any team loses their number 10 through injury, it's very hard to replace. Most of the time, a team does not have a backup number 10 because they're like very unique players. They're hard to find. It kind of reminds me of when we had Dybala probably like 6-7 years ago. If we lost Dybala wasn't really that injury prone at the start of his career. But if he wasn't in that, we would have struggled a lot more because we didn't have a replacement in that number 10 role. So I think with any number 10 at any club, like if Arsenal lost Ødegaard, whatever, they would struggle. And it just comes down to luck because you need luck to win a league title. Let's not be around the bush here. You do need luck. So obviously Tottenham need things to go their way in the sense that players don't get injured. The odd result here and there, the odd decision go their way, i.e. the Liverpool game, whatever. So yeah, I just wanted to answer kind of all those questions in one. But at the moment, I probably would put Maddison first. Yeah.
Dale, do you agree?
Yeah, I put Maddison first on form, man. I think Obviously, Bruno, I know Luca kind of referenced him there. I don't think Bruno's been good enough this season. I think he's got a bit more stick than he deserves, but I don't think he's been good by any stretch of the imagination. Certainly not better than Maddison anyway. I'd say Maddison's better on form, but I mean, when they're all on form, he's fourth or fifth best in the league, let's be real. I put Bruno, KDB and Odegaard ahead of him. But I do like him. He's a good player. But yeah, on form, I'd say so. But a lot of players are injured and not playing well, so.
Well, we'll finish on the Spurs topic with Connor in a second. I just wanted to touch upon, like, Maddison, as much as he is a number 10, like you often see him picking up the ball at left back about 4 or 5 times last night. At left back he was. And like I said, when Basuma's out injured, one of the number 8s need to come in and collect the ball. Maddison did it all day. The energy that he provides, the drilling passes into Son's feet, the playing off him, the creation. Spurs' goals last night actually came in transition, despite all of the good football. They were actually high pressing, and Maddison offers that as well. So he's got so much to his locker as well as the quality. I am a big fan, but I think it's hard to put him above the other 3 in terms of longevity, in terms of what we've seen in the Premier League. So I don't necessarily disagree with him being 4th, but I do think number 1 at the moment. Connor, where do you have him?
If we're literally going off this season, obviously he can't hold a candle to Kevin De Bruyne. That's just gone without saying. But to come into a brand new side and play, just to adapt, like Odegaard and Bruno, they've had their stints at their clubs. They've been there a while. They know their players. They know the style of play. He's come to a new team. Well, regardless if we had a new manager or not, it doesn't matter because he's still brand new. And and with the injury crisis, if he does get injured, we have 2 options. We either play Lo Celso, who I love him, but he's not the greatest, or Bentancur is coming back from injury. He's back in training. So we go back into, instead of a 4-2-3-1, we go into a 4-3-3 with Saar, Basuma, and Bentancur in like 8s and a 6. And then we'll have wingers with Richie, Kulu, and Son up front. So that's the only thing that would change. If we did do it that way, it would obviously we'd be less attacking because Basuma's obviously more of a 6, Saar's more of a 6, so that's where he's playing. But Bentancur, I feel like he can pick up the ball in midfield and he can drive up. But in the final third, I don't think he's got that capability to beat the last man. To
produce what Maddison does effectively.
Yeah. And what I'm waiting for is, I'm really disappointed we've not seen it yet. We've not seen a direct free kick from Maddison yet. Obviously, he got an assist from one against Brentford in the first game of the season. But I want to see a proper Beckham-esque whip into the top corner and then just absolutely erupt. But I think injury to Maddison, we might go on a little bit of a dip.
I hear you, and I think Luca's point from earlier, you could throw that pill at any team you like, and it's difficult to try and work out what the solution would be to those situations. But from one team which is having a very good season to Luca, am I allowed to say surprisingly Juventus with Allegri, or was this something you expected? I mean, literally the Serie A table at the moment, there is not much in between the top 3. I mean, 2 points, in fact. You've got the 2 Milan sides above Juventus. Are you happy with the start to the season?
No, I am happy with the start to the season, of course. We've, like I said, in the last pod we done, Dan, the only game that really frustrated me was Bologna, but above all, Atalanta. We spoke about that, if you remember. But yeah, I am happy with the start to the season. We're third. We're only 2 points off Inter. Before the season began, I looked at it saying the only team that's better than us is Inter. I don't care what anyone says. AC Milan is not better than Juventus, especially not on paper. Napoli aren't better than Juventus either. I only saw Inter as above us. So being third is a good start, yeah. The football isn't amazing. We're going to speak about the Milan game, obviously, but it's a results business. I remember even when we had a God squad back in the day, we never played amazing football. It was just efficient football and we won games. That's what we did. And I don't care. If we win, I'm happy. Like, it doesn't matter if we play good, if we play bad. And that AC Milan game epitomized it, really.
Yeah, that is prime Allegri ball for me.
Yeah.
I watched the extended highlights, but when the camera panned to him at full time, like how happy I think he would have rather have won 1-0 against 10 men in the manner that you did than win 3-0 with attacking flair football. He was very happy with it. I would see like shaking hands with the subs afterwards as well.
Yeah.
Could is this is the bigger question. Is this through 38 games sustainable?
No, because we don't have the individuals to be able to do it every single week. Back in the day, we had world class talent in basically every position, every part of the football pitch, so we could get away with it. If we were 1-0 up and we needed to defend for the last 20 minutes, you had arguably the best keeper in goal, the best keeper of all time, in goal.
Yeah.
You had Chiellini, Barzagli, Bonucci, or like Benatia if he was playing. You had wing backs of like Sandro, Dani Alves, Evra, Lichtsteiner, some of the best in their position of this generation. So you could defend for fun. Then if you needed a goal in the last minute, you had Dybala, Higuain, Ronaldo, whoever to clutch up. Now, if I'm looking at my team, the defense, Chesney's a good keeper. He made a good save on Giroud, but he's not Buffon. The defense is, the back three is obviously not as strong as it used to be. And in terms of individual ability, the only player that can really I would say Vlahovic is a good player, but he's not going to make the difference. If he scores, he'll make the difference, but his overall game won't. It's only Chiesa, really. So I think the individual ability will struggle to win every game playing like that. It's not sustainable football. But the odd game, yes, it can go your way. But overall, we do need to improve our game. But looking at it, we went to San Siro away with Chiesa, Vlahovic injured. They didn't start. It's not. I didn't expect us to play amazing football, to be honest. And those ones we take every day of the week. But if we go away to like Frosinone, we can't play like that. Do you know what I mean? You'd expect like a completely different performance from the team.
I mean, some of the best managers in the world adapt. I think the worry nowadays, especially with modern football, is that just generally the teams that control games tend to pick up more points. I mean, that's just maths, really.
Yeah.
But back in the day, like even Fergie at United, for example, in the big games, we didn't play scintillating football. Definitely not. We used to. I mean, you'd see the odd appearance from Darren Fletcher and Park Ji-sung just to subdue what they're going to do. I think adaptation from managers is actually quite underrated, especially in big moments, because ultimately, whether you have 85% possession and you win 1-0, or you have 5% possession and win 1-0, it's still 3 points at the end of the day. I thought the game management was good. I think the worry for me, what looking in, is I suppose the Atalanta game is probably the easiest one to explain this by. A point away from home against probably a Europa League side at the end of the season. If you're looking to win the league, they're the types of games which can define whether you're going to be challenging or just comfortable top four. And I think that's where the big question mark is. But having said that, I mean, right now, how many games are we in? 9 games in and only 2 points off the top. I mean, it's hard to complain, right?
No, exactly. You need to win. You need to win your head-to-heads to win the league. You have to beat AC Milan, Inter, Roma, Napoli, the bigger clubs. We drew to Atalanta, but we've beaten Lazio, we've beaten AC Milan first round. The next big test is Inter on the 26th of November. If we win that, I think that will be huge for us. I said before, if we had lost to AC Milan, I think the league would have been done already. I couldn't see us winning the league. But now, I still can't see us winning the league because I still think Inter are the best team in the country. But I think we have a chance, we have a shot at it if things go our way. If we can make some good signings in January, I think January is key. I think we'll bring in a few players then to strengthen up the squad because obviously we've lost Fagioli, we've lost Pogba. We definitely need some reinforcements. The midfield's looking pretty weak. But we've got some good young players as well. Sule's out on loan, killing it for Frosinone. He'll come back in the summer. I don't know how old he is, but there's a centre-back called Huijsen who came on against AC Milan who looks very good as well. He's like 18 or 19.
I saw him.
Is he the one that you said was a new Van Dijk or something?
Yeah, but obviously I was
Yeah.
I wasn't being deadly serious, but he had a good game to be fair with. But I'm quite excited to be honest. And obviously, no European football is creating this. We have to remember if we were playing midweek, we would not have picked up this many points, I don't think. We would have picked up less points. Like AC Milan and Inter do have to play 2 games a week. So we have that going our way.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities between that. I mean, we've seen Chelsea and underperforming Chelsea a season before come in and win the league off the back of not having European football. I mean, you see Spurs at the moment without European football flying, and then you guys as well having probably a season you didn't expect potentially at this stage. But I mean, it's exciting times for you both. I mean, 9 games in, it does look good, and I think one thing Juventus and Tottenham do have in common is you're going to have the ability to go into the market in January, and if you're there or thereabouts in January, that's depth problem, or maybe in Juventus's case, the quality problem in terms of individual talent. It could be addressed, and that last bit of the season might be good times for you both.
Yeah,
and having said that, let's talk. Yeah, let's talk about sides which are maybe not having the best season, but a gentleman in himself who is having a little bit of a redemption at the moment. I want to talk about Harry Maguire quickly because it seems to be in the news. Man of the match performance. Still, what's changed?
Well, I didn't watch the Sheffield United game because I was busy, as you know. So I can't comment on his performance in that game at all. So I'm sorry about that. But I mean, I don't know if I'd say what's changed. I just like Harry Maguire. Like I don't know how much more to elaborate on it. My chair, man. In the right system, in the right team, the right game, he can be a very good centre back and shine through. He's got great qualities. Is infinitely better than fucking Lindelof. I'm sorry, Lindelof fans. He's just a good defender. He's good at bringing the ball out. He's good on the ball as well. Obviously, physically, he's got some shortcomings with it. He turns like a truck and he's very slow. But he's a decent defender. And I've been saying this for ages, and I've been saying it for ages. I kind of get bored about it. Like, all you have to do is watch him and realise that he is actually good. And once you get past being an absolute fucking idiot and just agreeing with what the absolute goon pages say on Twitter about him being shit, then you realise that he's a good footballer. Like, he's like he could put a 9 out of 10 performance in, but he'll like head the ball out for a corner when he should have left it for the keeper or something like that. And then it'll be a big meme on fucking troll football, and all the absolute smooth brain bastards will eat it up because they're fucking stupid. But I think anyone that understands football to a decent level will know that Maguire's a decent player. And that's all I've got to say in it, because I'm bored. I'm genuine. It's why I've not made a video on it, to be fair. His stats, as you showed me from the last few games that he's played in, have been fantastic in terms of progressing the ball and passing the ball. We know he's a good defender. He's strong in the air, which is something we massively lack with Sandro Martinez and with Varane, because Varane's for how tall he is not a specimen physically at all. And yeah, I've seen that stat thrown around that we've got a better record with him than without him, which I kind of understand. But then at the same time, I'm seeing people who have some level of intelligence on Twitter, like Jack and Toby and stuff, put this graphic out. I'm like, but you do have to factor in it with most of the games he's played against bottom half opposition in cup games, in Europa League games, third round of the Carabao Cup, FA Cup. So that does play into it a lot. But I think he deserves a chance. I think he should be at least our third choice centre back. And with the recent form of Lissandro and Varane, he deserves a chance anyway, because they've both been piss poor this season and they're never fucking fit.
Yeah, that's right. I've got some follow-up bits to that. But before I do, Connor, England fan as well as Spurs. So, I mean, obviously that narrative, I find it quite boring, to be honest. He's good for England, but he's bad for Man United. What's your opinion on Maguire?
See, I like. I think it's purely because of the fact that he's just been bullied too much. I have like a little soft spot for him. Any mistake that's happened over the last however long, it's some. I say some. It's literally they try and find a way to just end Maguire, try and blame him. Am I here?
Connor, can you restart your phone? I'll come back to it. I'm just going to add a little point. I'll chuck it over to Luca, and then I'll come back to you exactly the same point in a second.
No worries.
Okay, so Dill, you almost mentioned it when you think of what you want a centre back to do, right? Progressive passer, yes. Strong in the air, yes. Dominant in the air, yes. Calm under pressure, yes. Knows how to organise, yes. He's got all these things, but then a lot of people throw pace at him. He isn't the quickest, obviously. It is a flaw to his game, but he isn't as slow as people make out. Not even close. Yeah. There's other centre backs in the league that get away with it, like Ruben Diaz isn't the quickest, but like the way that City play, it kind of looks after his weaknesses. And I would say the difference between good players and great players are the ones which band-aid their weaknesses and then elevate their strengths, be that with a system, having the right partner next to them, or just within themselves playing to their strengths as opposed to coming away to their weaknesses. I think at Man United, and I think this has a lot to do with the Premier League, because Premier League is a lot quicker. He's very reactive when defending, i.e. if the ball comes in the air, he'll kind of let the striker get hold of the ball and then he'll try and win the duel that way. Whereas I think recently he's been attacking everything, every little thing. So those moments which are quite clippable, memeable, like his athleticism, let's be honest, it is almost in the bin, and that is a huge flaw when he's put in those situations. But if you can avoid those situations, those little clips which come on Twitter, that come on YouTube, and they are quite funny. I remember him like switching music and Paul Pogba in the face. Like, these are the moments that people remember, right? If you avoid those situations, there's going to be less of it. And what I will say as well is every player is flawed in some way. There's something that you could be elite at so many things, but they're not very good at others. But you'll get players like, I don't know, Paul Scholes isn't very good at tackling, for example, a bit rash in the tackle. But if he kept hold of the ball well and Man United structurally were there, you very rarely saw these moments. And then that doesn't become a narrative. Whereas if he was playing for, I don't know, a Leicester where he needs to make tackles every week, probably get a yellow card every 5 games. And then that'll be in banned and stuff. Like he has Trent at the back post when he's missing his headers. But Liverpool very rarely are in a position where Trent's defending the back post. So it's not really a narrative. Whereas Man United are always in situations where we turn over the ball. So that ball on over the top is always there. And that's where Maguire gets laughed at. Luca, do you have a strong opinion on Maguire at all?
Yeah, I think he's just a decent footballer, to be honest. I don't think he's... The thing is, it's hard to categorize players because a lot is subjective, isn't it? So maybe like who I consider good, Dylan might consider great or whatever, you know what I mean? So for me, he's just decent. He's all right. I don't think he's a top defender. I don't think he'll ever be a top defender. But he gets too much disrespect. He's not shit. He's not completely awful at football. He's a decent defender. He's just been under a lot of pressure for the last 5 odd years since that move to United, whenever it was. I don't remember. What was it? 2018, 2019, whenever?
2019, I want to say.
Yeah, it might have been the 1920 season. For a lot of money, he was the most expensive defender now of all time at the time.
Yeah.
Or at least in the Premier League, which in itself, did he warrant that price tag? Probably not, but that was the market at the time. A lot of people didn't consider that. So he came to United, the biggest club in England, with so much pressure, with that price tag. He made a few mistakes. He kept getting memed up. Then he lost and then he was captain as well for United. People saying he didn't deserve to be captain. He lost his position. He had all these factors onto him. And it comes down to mentality as well. He might not, everyone's different now. Everyone reacts to pressure differently. So maybe he, in like high pressure moments, doesn't always perform the best to the best of his ability. So he just reacted to the negativity and the hate and the criticism wrongly, in the sense that he didn't outperform and shut them up. And then they just kept getting bigger and bigger on him, building up. I don't know how well I've explained this, but like that's how I see it with Maguire. He's kind of like a deer in headlights. He struggled a bit, but I think he's a decent player. He gets way too much hate. And looking at United's defense now, I've said this for a couple years now. Varane, towards the end of his career, he's overrated. I'm sorry, Dill. Lisandro Martinez, probably the most overrated centre back on earth. He's not as good as everyone makes out. He's got to be third choice, like Dylan said. He's not as good as the first two, but he's got to be up there.
I thought you were going to come from my boy Luke Shaw then, and I was ready to let it rip.
Okay.
No, I do think there's a lot to be said in intangibles in football, and it's often overlooked because, I mean, essentially it doesn't come up on the stat sheet. But, I mean, pressure is a real thing. We've all been there. We've all dealt with it. And you can't even imagine the situation that these boys are in scrutiny, especially at Man United Football Club. Like, it's probably worse there than it is any other club, potentially Real Madrid. I can't speak Spanish, so I can't read their Twitter. But, I mean, Real Madrid is probably like a cauldron as well. But yeah,
United,
I mean,
even like little things like United. Have you seen after like any match the amount of Instagram comments there are, for example, under their like it's like full-time result. They get hundreds and thousands of comments. Like United, probably, I don't know if they have more fans than Real Madrid, but they're easily up there with the most supported club in the world. So like you said, Dan, it's like the pressure as well with the amount of fans coming at him week in, week out on social media. It's crazy.
For every little thing. And that, like I said earlier, that lack of athleticism, which becomes memeable. Every player has a weakness. This is Harry Maguire's weakness. The problem is that lack of athleticism just looks funny, and then it just adds to things all the time as well. And it's a lot.
I was going to say, like, you can make the mentality argument, but I've never seen a Manchester United player or Premier League player be scapegoated to the degree that Harry Maguire has in the past 2 years. It's been absolutely ridiculous, to the point where you've got England fans that will come on and boo him or cheer when he's getting brought on sarcastically when, we play Arsenal or any other team, stuff like that. And it must be a lot to handle, and you can see it can get to him. When you're playing with a keeper like De Gea for so long, who's awful, you're playing with Lindelof and players like that as well. Like, it's not going to help, is it? You know what I mean? Like, he got all the stick for that thing in Sevilla when it was De Gea's fault. De Gea
the pass,
De Gea plays a hospital pass out to him and then stands on the ball and lets En-Nesyri get a tap in from 30 yards, and it's Maguire's fault.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same old shit, and it's like banging your head against a brick wall. And I still do get passionate and argue about these points, but sometimes I do struggle to find it within myself, because I've been banging my head against a brick wall on TikTok with it for the past 2 years.
I know.
You cannot educate an idiot. Like, no matter how hard you try, it's absolutely pointless. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And you can lead an idiot to your TikToks that prove everything they believe wrong, but they'll still tell you you're a dickhead.
No, you have been very vocal about it, and it has been for a while. And I've agreed with you the majority of the time with the Maguire slander. I think the slander's always been over the top. I do think he's limited. I think Luca summed it up. He's a very good player. He's not great. He'll never be a top player, but that doesn't mean you can't be useful in the right system at the right club. I think at the moment he's just got the bit between his teeth. He knows the pressure's on. Last chance saloon at the United in a red top. He's got linked
and big
with
up
West
to him
Ham.
for trying it as well, man, because a lot of
100%.
players would have gone. And I said this before as well. Like, people always say, "Oh, Maguire's fucking deluded, think he can make it at United. Who on earth does he think he is?" What the fuck's wrong? What's wrong with having a bit of confidence in yourself? If Ronaldo does it, it's like, wow, what a mentality monster he is. That's why he's so good. But a player that isn't world class, or Ronaldo does it, it's like, wow, that's embarrassing. Imagine believing in your own ability and thinking you can achieve something with your life. What a dick. Do you know what I mean? It's crazy. Like, he should just go and sign for a championship team so he can look good and just give up. Like, you know what I mean? He's not worked his whole life and got this massive move to United to give up after a couple of bad seasons.
Use the contract to your advantage, man. Like, if you want to make it at the top, you have to make it whilst you're there. And
like, he's been getting a look in at the start of the season, and now he's starting over Lindelof in the Champions League. So Summit's, he's doing better already than he was a few weeks ago.
Yeah, man. Good luck.
Huh?
Is he starting?
Yeah, he's starting today with who's he starting with?
Varane, I think, is back here.
Yeah, he'll do his fucking hamstring.
Are you at home?
Yeah, we're at home. Yeah.
Home Copenhagen. Yeah. JD, sign us off on the Sorry.
You should win.
We have to. 0 points at the bottom of the group, man.
If not, come back to my TikTok at 10:30.
Connor, sign us off on the Harry Maguire bit. I'm going to set up for football tennis as you do so, mate. But think of him in an England shirt, and what's your opinion of him?
See, I like him. I feel like because maybe it's the fact that he's been over-bullied the last few years. But I think I saw someone say he's not overrated, he's overpriced. And I thought that was pretty spot on. But Leicester knew that United clearly really wanted him. So they were going to try and sponge as much money as they could.
It happens all the time.
So, like, money in the transfer market is not so much how much a player is valued anymore. It's how much they're worth to the club.
Yeah.
And it's like Anthony, 100 million. Anthony is not a 100 million pound player. He isn't. But to Ajax, he is. And especially because Ten Hag wanted him so badly, it inflates it a lot. So we have to give Maguire his flowers in terms of he might not have the best games back to back for Man United, but when he puts that England shirt on, it's like him and Pickford, they both do the same thing. They turn into different people. Like, I'd argue the Euros run, we wouldn't have got as far as we got without Maguire.
I think he was one of the Euros. He was one of our best players. He got man of the match in a couple. Dare I say, if we would have won it, he might have even got player of the tournament. Like, it was.
He wouldn't have done because he's a defender, but he should have been up there.
He was good.
You what?
Did he get in the team of the tournament?
He was team of the tournament.
Yeah.
I know he got a team of the tournament card on FIFA, but that's
that's a FIFA con. Cheers, mate.
that's all I know about it, because they do it off real life.
Can I just add something quickly? You know
Yeah.
how you said how Connor was like he was valued that to Leicester, and because United paid it, he's
Yeah.
worth that, right? That's common sense, isn't it? You know when Juventus got done for the point deduction. You know the Serie A, right? It's the Italian FA equivalent, right? They were like in the article, because I read the whole report. They said that Juventus were inflating transfer prices because teams bought their players for not what they were worth on the website transfer market. Do you know how insane
That's mental.
that's written in the report?
That's
Jesus
insane.
Christ.
Do you know how
That's nuts,
stupid
man.
that?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's
bro.
insane.
Fuck me.
Gentlemen, football tennis time. We've got 3 different ones. I'm going to tell you all 3 topics now because they all interlink. It is, and you'll probably get the link in between them. 2011 Champions League final, the 2017 Champions League final, and the 2019 Champions League final. If you haven't noticed already,
Our team's lost all of them.
yeah, our team's lost all of them.
Good stuff.
But what I want from the answers on every single one, we're going to go 2011 first, and 17, then 19. What I want as the answers. It doesn't have to be the starting 11, the squad for that day. So not the squad in the Champions League, but I'm gonna introduce it as we go. So I want the starting 11 and the sub. So if you're banned for the final, for example, you weren't not going to be on the list. There's a hint for you. Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
So it wasn't a team. It wasn't squad members in that season. It was just in the team
for the final. Yeah,
in the team for the
final.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah.
In the team for the final.
I feel like I'm good for United, but past that.
So we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna start with 2011. I'm gonna introduce it on here. This is for the clip. Gareth NO Football. You are welcome, my friend. Football tennis time. This is the 2011 Champions League final squads between Barcelona and Manchester United. Dylan, you can go first.
Wayne Rooney.
Yep.
Who's next then? You didn't
Connor,
say an order.
Connor, sorry, it goes like
Messi.
Messi is number 10 for Barcelona, of course. Luca.
David Villa.
Sorry?
David Villa.
David Villa was there, yeah.
I was going to say, like, come on, man.
No, I genuinely didn't hear you.
I was going to say, I'm not tripping that.
No, he scored, yeah.
Genuinely didn't hear you, yeah.
Ryan Giggs.
Ryan Giggs was there, yeah, playing centre mid on the day, yeah. Con. I heard Patrice Evra, and I'm seeing Patrice Evra, so I'm going to give you Patrice Evra. Luca. Pedro was there as well. Again, another starter in the Barcelona side.
Nemanja Vidic.
Nemanja Vidic was there, yes. Connor?
Raphael
was...
Good shout.
Not there.
Oh, never mind.
That's gone, eliminated.
It must have been injured or suspended.
I'm going to say, I will come back to that in a second. I'll explain, but no hints on this show.
Okay.
Luca.
Xavi
was there, of course.
Ji-sung Park.
Ji-sung Park was there and he started, yes, left midfield. Iniesta, of course, centre midfield, number 8 for Barcelona.
Victor Valdez.
Victor Valdez, numero uno in the Barcelona side, yes.
Busquets
was there as well. All 3 of them were there. All 3 of them been named, yep.
Edwin van der Sar.
Man United's keeper on the day, yep.
Dani
Alves was there, yes.
Rio Ferdinand
was there as well.
PK
was there as well. We're getting through to starting 11. I can't wait for the subs, Dylan.
Oh, shit, a brick.
Remembering what's been said.
Dimitar Berbatov.
Dimitar Berbatov was not there, Luca.
Fuck off! What?
He wasn't there, man.
Oh, wow.
Won already.
What?
You've won.
Alec, you've won, yeah, man. You've won. It's last one in. It's a Luca. I'll go through it. So the forwards for Man United on the day was Wayne Rooney.
Javier Hernandez. I don't know why I didn't say Javier Hernandez.
Javier Hernandez, yeah. The one that was missing from the Man United starting 11 was Fabio, not Raphael.
Oh. What did you say, Scholes?
Oh, same thing.
Paul Scholes was on the bench that day. Ryan Giggs started centre mid with Carrick.
Yeah, Carrick, yeah.
And then for Barcelona, there was Puyol missing and who? Abidal? Who was the left back?
Rafinha, maybe?
Left back was Abidal.
Abidal.
It was fine, yeah. There was no Puyol in the starting 11, but he did come on with like 5 minutes to go or something.
Who started centre back? BK.
Mascherano.
Oh, yeah. Mascherano, yeah.
Did you say
Sorry?
Did you say what happened to Raphael or not?
No,
Why
Raphael
wasn't he
wasn't. Raphael was at the club, but he wasn't there today. I'm assuming he's injured. There's no information
It
on
must
it.
have been because he was playing around then.
And also, it was at right back as well, which is odd for Fabio.
Yeah, left-footed.
Like he
Yeah.
doesn't.
What about
normally do that.
Valencia? Was he part of the squad?
Yeah, I
Valencia,
think he-
Valencia was right mid. Yeah.
Ah,
Right, can we get into the other ones, boys? Because it's 8 o'clock and I want to watch football. No offense.
2007. Yeah, let's go. 2017 UEFA Champions League final. Is that my phone? Hold on.
Not mine, mate.
Yeah, I set it for 8. Okay, let's do it again. The 2017 UEFA Champions League final squads. This is football tennis. So one name at a time, please, gentlemen. The game was between Juventus and Real Madrid. This time we will go in opposite order and we'll start with Luca.
Buffon.
Buffon was there, of course he was. Connor?
Gareth Bale.
Gareth Bale was there, yes. He was on the bench on the day.
Mario Mandzukic.
Mario Mandzukic, centre forward for Juventus, yes.
Bonucci.
Bonucci, of course, starting centre back.
Alex Sandro.
Alexandro. He was, yes, playing left mid for Juventus.
Rafa Varane.
Rafa Varane was centre back for Madrid.
Chiellini.
Of course he was, yeah, next to Bonucci.
Lichtsteiner.
Who, sorry?
Lichtsteiner.
Yeah, he's on the bench for Juventus.
Casemiro.
Casemiro, defensive centre midfield for Real Madrid.
Pjanic.
Pjanic, centre midfield for Juventus, of course.
I don't know if anyone said him, but CR7.
Ronaldo was playing, yeah, of course he was, yeah.
Yeah.
Tony Kroos.
Tony Kroos, of course, was playing as well.
Khedira.
Sami Khedira. He was playing in number 6 for Juventus.
Ooh, Marcelo.
Marcelo, left back for Real Madrid.
Luka Modric.
Luka Modric was there on the day. Yes, of course he was.
Nobed Ramos.
Ramos was there, yeah.
Yeah, I remember he dived. He's a cunt. But yeah. Oh, you bleep that.
It will be bleep.
Got it?
The hardest part of this, I don't even remember who's been said.
Yeah, me neither.
The starting 11s are pretty much... no, there's a couple.
I've seen it recently. Let me cook. And use Dilsing. Let me cook.
Got him. 5, 3. Give me a name, Connor.
Nacho Fernandez.
Nacho was there, yeah. He was on the bench. Good
Jesus,
shout.
nice.
We take them, Connor. Well played.
Has anyone said Marquisio?
No one said Marquisio.
Was he not there?
He was on the bench, yeah.
Oh, you bastard.
Dybala.
Dybala was there, yep.
Oh, it's a rogue shout. Higuain.
Yeah. You don't need to confirm it. He was there.
Yeah, he was there. Luca.
Has anyone said Keylor Navas?
No.
If not,
No one has said Keylor
mine's
Navas.
Keylor Navas then.
Yeah. He started.
Dani
for Madrid.
Alves.
Dani Alves was there, yeah.
Correct me on the pronunciation of this, but Matteo Perin?
He wasn't there then.
Neto was. Oh shit.
I'm not going to use it. Don't worry.
if I've got the pronunciation right, he wasn't there. No, it was.
No, Perrin wasn't there then.
No.
I won't use Neto. I won't be a scumbag. Don't worry. Luke.
No, you can use it. I've got loads more, man.
All right, Neto.
Go, Luke.
Barzagli.
Yes.
Fucking hell.
I don't want to give hints, but there's. I'll say
You
less.
still got both Real Madrid fullbacks.
No, Marcelo?
Yep.
Yeah. Lemina.
Yep.
VAR, I said Marcelo.
Carvajal. Oh, did you?
Oh shit.
Never mind then. I'm done.
Who said Marcelo?
Connor said he did.
Connor got Marcelo. Oh, my bad. There you go. Rewind
Luca wins
that.
again.
Marcelo's been taken. Luca 2. That's clippable. I'm all right with that. 2 W's. 2009 Champions League final squads.
Do you mean 2019, bro?
2019 Champions League final squads. The game obviously was between Tottenham Hotspurs and Liverpool. I'm looking for either the starting 11 or the players that were on the bench on the day. This time we're going to start with Connor.
Sadio Mane.
Sadio Mane was there, mate.
Harry Kane, because he
Harry
played
Kane,
in
of course. Yeah, Luca.
Alisson.
Alisson, yeah.
Lucas Moura.
Lucas Moura was there, yes.
Van Dijk.
Trent.
Virgil van Dijk, yeah. Sorry?
Trent.
Yep.
Harry Winks.
Harry Winks, of course, he started as well.
Andy Robertson.
Andy Robertson, left back, yes.
Joe Gomez.
Joe Gomez was in the squad. He wasn't in the starting 11, but it still counts.
Davinson Sanchez.
Davinson Sanchez. He was on the bench, yes.
Fabinho.
Fabinho, of course, was there, starting number 6 for Liverpool, although he's wearing the number 3.
Henderson.
Henderson, of course, yep.
Musa Sissoko.
Musa Sissoko was there, and he started, yep.
Genie Wijnaldum.
Judy. Yeah, he was there too.
Salah.
Salah, of course.
Divock Origi.
Divock, of course, that was his big Champions League tournament. Number 27 for Liverpool, he was there, yes.
What's his fucking face? Karius.
Karius.
Was he not there then?
No, he wasn't.
I mean, I'm okay.
That's
Fine, I'm just going to watch the game on my TV.
That's fine. It was Alisson and Mignolet were there too. Mignolet's off the table now. Luca?
Firmino.
Firmino was there, yeah.
Kieran Trippier.
Trips was there, yeah. Right back.
Human Son.
Son, of course, yep.
Christian Eriksen.
Yep.
Alderweireld.
Who, sorry?
Alderweireld.
Oh, yeah. Centre back.
Jan Vertonghen.
The other centre back, yeah.
Was Klein? I'm going to say Klein.
Nathaniel Klein.
Yeah, that's a bit of a risky one, but I can't.
That is rogue.
I knew he was in the. Well, was he not?
He's not on the bench. No, the defender's on the
Yes!
Yeah.
He's got a tennis.
There was.
I won, man!
Congratulations, Connor.
What a fucking tennis.
Danny Rose was one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was my next one. Yes!
Yeah, Kyle Walker-Peters, Lovren, Joe Gomez, James Milner. There was a few. Lamella, Eric Dyer, but there's a couple like Rhian Brewster was there, for example.
Yeah. Have you seen the meme of him getting a trim with the
when he contribute nothing to the group project, but still
he didn't even come on in the final.
He did nothing.
No, literally nothing. There you go, gentlemen. There you go. We finish on Luca 2. Still didn't grab any W's tonight, but I suppose most importantly on the day, Connor's off the mark with 1. Proud of you, my friend. Well done.
Well done, Connor.
We'll end it there, gentlemen. Champions League night. Go and enjoy your football. But as always, cheers for